Well, hello again. This is a new project. It's a Seabreeze record player. I think it's made out of Mississauga or Toronto somewhere in the 60s. I haven't found the exact model online actually. And down here's the turntable. And these two speakers move out to one side. Anyways, we'll see how this ends up when it's all fixed. It's got a couple of little marks on the front. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of a mark there. I didn't see that before. Otherwise it's not too bad. It'll clean up, I guess. I established the amplifier work before I brought it, and I don't know what to do with the turntable. The pickups seems alright, but there's no stylus, and it's not turning, so it might just be free froze or what, I don't know. And the automatic arm is missing off the back. But the first job is going to be how the heck do I get it to bits. So that could be interesting to see, because this just swivels like that. So it's actually getting to take the back off, but I don't know how that's going to help. But we will see. It's going to be a bit of a puzzle. There's screws on the backs of the speakers here, but no screws on the back of this. That's just crazy. So there's an antenna thing on the bottom, and here's what it's called. And there's the serial number. Oh well. Looks like there's some interesting junk in there, but how you actually get inside, I see there's screws on the top, but then you can't get to the ones at the back, so interesting. Anyway, I think the first thing I'm going to try is there's an end stop here, another one the other side, and it's on a hinge, so I should be able to flip it right over so I can actually take it out from the top. I guess that's how it works. Usually this equipment is very easy to get to surface, but I guess come 1960 they kind of changed their mind, so I'm still trying to figure my way into this. Not so bad. I can see I managed to get this panel off, although you couldn't get a screwdriver in there to get it off. And there's a circuit diagram inside. And there's the plate I took off. So hopefully now I can remove this screw, and this should come out pretty easy, because as long as I get one side off, unless I have to take this whole turntable off to get the other side off, I don't know yet. But anyway, it's a good start. Looks like it's going to insist that I take the whole other part out as well. That makes it more difficult. So it looks like we have to pull all the knobs off to pull the top off, because the circuit board stays behind. So there's the first look inside. Oh boy, there's some electrolytic, a whole bunch of electrolytic capacitors in there, and a big one there. Oh dear, they may need changing out if it hums. Be lucky if they're still good, because they don't age very well, and then you get that horrible hum. Anyways, we will see. It looks like it shouldn't be too difficult to get out now, with any luck. Well, there was two little phono plugs at the back here, just for the speakers, and then I was able to remove the bolt there. So hopefully that should come out now, and I can leave the turntable connected. Okay, so still can't quite get it out yet. I just have to remove that cable clamp so the power cord can pull through, and I should be able to remove it. There we go, all the rubbish in there. An old record cleaning cloth, and the other thing, and this would be for the antenna, and I don't know how that works because it wasn't connected to anything, so it's very strange. But anyway, now these are the speaker plugs, and in the bottom was the warning label, which makes sense. It says, important, do not switch on without connecting the speakers. And that's exactly how they used to work in the old days, because those early, well, they weren't solid state, early transistors, if you had open speakers, it would blow the stupid power transistors. So we don't want to do that, do we? Oh, there's the part we want, finally, on the bench. And now I have to rig up some speakers before I can even try and connect any power to it. Well, that's where that sticker must go, so I can put that back later, which is useful because you can see where the speakers connect. It's just, I don't know why they use the same kind of plug for the speakers as they do for the auxiliary input, because somebody didn't know could get that the wrong way round, and then there'd be all kinds of trouble. I should be able to disconnect the turntable now to work on it, because that's, I think, is the main cause of the problem. It was easy enough to disconnect, but it was interesting how they did the pickup, unlike in a modern day there, where you just have a right and left channel. What they've done there is they've got, as you only technically need one ground, they've obviously gone a single conductor for the right channel, as it's red, that would be right, and then they've got just the ground on the left. Strange arrangement. Why they didn't just use two of these, I don't know. Anyway, this is Canadian, what do you expect? Can't do anything too simple. You can see the emitter and collectors up here. So there's two per channel with the capacitor across. So we have 4 transistors. These are the output transistors down here, and there's 2 per channel. There's 4 of them hiding down there, so hopefully they're all good. It would help if I actually looked at the circuit diagram, wouldn't it? So you can see why you don't want to leave the speakers open. They're just coupled with a 400 microfarad 25 volt working capacitor. There's no output transformer, and it looks like they got a woofer and a tweeter. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 transistors per channel. And there's those 2 red diodes there coming off the power supply. Good job they're not those horrible selenium things. Yeah, and that's where the ceramic cartridge goes that we've got to get fixed. And looking at the actual components, there's those 2 red diodes there on the power supply. So I hope the smoothie capacitor is good. These are probably alright on the front end. If anything goes, it'll be this. The speaker's up there, so we're not open, and we got a little bit of hum, but that's just because the input's not connected, but they seem to be alright. Seem to have some power there, so I don't think that's going to hum too much once you get it out of the both channels seem to be working, which is cool. Yeah, actually when you get it off of full volume, not too bad. It's a bit hissy, not too bad. Yeah, the more challenging part is going to be this turntable. I don't know if I'm going to change this turntable out or try to fix it. There's no way it's going to be automatic again because it's missing this arm. Looks like it sheared clean off. But we'll take this circlip out and have a look what condition the drive puck is in. The arm, it looks a bit on the wobbly side. I don't know, we'll see. It might be alright. Just needs oil. The motor definitely needs lubricating for sure. But I don't know if this is a standard sized turntable deck or not. I'll have to see. It should be. So releasing the little clip underneath, I've removed the spindle, taken the circlip off, then I've removed this, and now the turntable top should just come off. And there we go. Actually, this is what I was worried about, this drive puck, and it doesn't look in too bad a shape. It's alright. Now we can get some oil down in this motor. Actually the motor's moving quite freely, but I'm sure it'll move a lot freely when it's got some lubrication. Otherwise the actual gearing all looks like it's greased and everything. That's where the power goes in there, and that's where the pickup connects. And so we can't get the automatic going anyway because the spindle's broken off, but to be honest with you, these turntables, the automatic usually screws up anyway, so it's probably just better off just using it as a manual turntable anyway. It'll still lift the record off at the end, or at least should do. We'll find that out later. One other thing I should point out, Be careful with these not to turn the turntable upside down now, because these ball bearings are just sitting there and they just go up and down on that washer. So if you just say, oh, I need to look underneath, and you flip the thing, all these ball bearings fall out, and then you wonder what the heck is going on. So okay, so I'm going to give it a little pre-oil. Normally, if this motor was C-solid and it moves really freely, I would have stripped it down, but I think it just needs some oil on the top and bottom bearing because it seems to move quite freely. Now, the oil I'm using is like I use for my 301. This is actually oil for sewing machines. It's a very light synthetic oil. It's just a job for that. Okay, so I'm letting that oil there soak for a little bit down in the bearings, and then I'm going to get rid of all the surplus oil and then clean it up with alcohol, because any oil on this rubber, and then we will be in trouble. I can't really show you very well doing it one-handed, but I've cleaned all the outside of this, all this rubber with strong alcohol to get rid of any muck and grease that's going to get on that wheel. And then I'm going to do the inside of the turntable here. So now cleaned around here with alcohol, cleaned the spindle with alcohol, cleaned all the inside of the turntable with alcohol, and then I'll just do a general cleanup. But we still don't know if this is even going to work with the pickup yet, but one thing at a time. Now I'm going to take some white lithium grease and just grease up the gears here, and then we should be able to put this turntable back on. I'm also going to put some lithium grease on these bearings and then take this washer off of here, put back on so we don't lose any of those tiny ball bearings, otherwise we'll be in trouble. And now we're going to put this washer back on so it can't all fall off and lose all those little bearings. So now it's safe to flip it over, and I think I'll just pop off this bottom bearing because this is the one that usually seizes and you can't really get any oil in there, so just undo those and put some oil in and put it back again because it's a sealed bearing. And then we'll just clean up this and put some new lithium on. And that's about all I can do as far as the mechanical part goes on this. So there's that bottom end bearing off. It's just a compressed bearing, so it just needs a little bit of that oil in there so she doesn't seize up. And should be fine. We'll pop that back. It's got some oil in there now. There's no way you could get any oil in there unless you take those two bolts out. That's just sort of glued on there. It's easy enough. So just make sure that's clean, got a little oil, and it'll be fine. Okay, so I put these two bolts back. Bear in mind they're just a screw with a head on the other end, so you want to make sure you don't let them fall out before you put it back together. Anyway, that's done, and I've just put the spindle back in. See, there's just this wire. I think I didn't show you that before. Holds that in, so that's a part of the spindle. Well, I took this metal back off again because that sits on there like that, and it's rubbing. This spring clip would just rub against this and slow the poor thing down. Anyway, I'll figure out why it's so tight in a minute, but anyway, it seems to run now, which it didn't before. I'll have to put a speed checker on it and see if it does. So that's set for 12 inch. It's putting the record on, and it should pick it up at the end, which it does. And it goes back on again because it'll just go around in circles unless you hit off and do it manually, because this is where the arm goes. I pick this arm up because if it's dropped back, I don't know if it works any better, but no, it won't move now, so it's jammed. So this has to be up in the locked position because normally that would have an arm on it. Seems to run. It's only run a lot freer than it did. If I put it on 7 inch, should go along to 7 inch, which it does, which would be a 45, yeah. And then up there, and it should pick up the record. Okay, so maybe good. And then we got to figure out the pickup part of it.